Super Saturday with me, Jeremy Harris, and really nice to be able to finally catch up with this man, interim head coach for the Blitzboks, Phillip Snyman, joins me on the line, joins me as well on Zoom. So, of course, you can catch this this interview visually as well. But for the most part, let's talk rugby. Phillip, listen, thank you so much for your time to start with.
Jeremy, thank you very much for having me, and thank you for all the support over the last years.
Absolutely. I think it goes without saying that as I mentioned to you off air, a lot of us, certainly in this team, but I mean, just generally, we're fans almost first, and then we ask the hard questions second. But it certainly has been our pleasure to follow the team. Now, a massive transition, I would imagine, for you from playing captain to non-playing interim head coach. I mean, how does that feel for you? I mean, was it a big adjustment? Do you sometimes feel like you want to substitute yourself onto the park? I mean, how difficult was that?
Yes, to be honest, sometimes one feel like you can still do it, but sometimes the mind tells you something, or want to write checks that the body can't cash in anymore. So now the playing days are over now, and yeah, it's quite a transition phase, and really happy with the role that I'm currently in. A lot of challenges, but yeah, you're sitting on the bench there, and the next moment, I think that the difference between the two is the one you can take control, and you can the first tackle, the first set of hands that you give a good pass, then the nerves settle down. I think for a coach, you sit there on the bench, and sometimes you pull your hair out, but then also the reward if you analyze the team and they play a nice scrum move and it comes off, then you feel happy inside. So, yeah, interesting transition phase, but happy with where we are.
Absolutely. Talk to us about I mean, let's just talk a bit more about the fact that, the players, all due respect to them, the players will come to training, they'll train, their guts out, they'll play their guts out, and then they'll go back to the change room, have a shower, and go back to the hotel. And maybe they'll watch some videos, maybe they'll go to the movies. Who knows what they'll do when they're at these tournaments. You, as the coach, you can't do that, because now you've got to start planning for the next day or for the next tournament. So it feels like, or it seems like, the hours in the day is slightly longer for the coach.
Yes, definitely. I don't think for a coach you're allowed the off day. You're always busy with something, always busy with some planning. Then something's going through your mind, stuff you write down, videos you watch to analyze. From my side, as a player, you always want to give the best to that jersey. And now for a coach, you still want to do that and make sure the players have all the right info and have everything to their ability, or to the advantage to analyze teams. So the work never stops, and the day when the players leave, you still need to do tomorrow's prep and all of that, because you don't want to rock up and sit there and just thumb sucking things. Where there's a plan for everything. So yeah, a little bit different. For me, experiencing now I won't say for the first time, but as a player, you don't really see that what goes in behind the scenes.
Can we talk about the transition which saw you become interim head coach? There was a period where Sandile, who I know you shared some playing time with, Sandile Ngobo was the head coach. He's now opted to get very involved in the academy, so he has moved to another challenge. But I mean, was that a difficult period personally for you? Was it a difficult period personally for him? I mean, it was done very transparently and out in the open, so nobody can point any fingers. But was that something that affected you in terms of how you look at the team, how you look at the individuals?
Yeah, obviously it was a difficult time for the team and for us as coaches. But for myself and Sandile, we're very good friends off the field, and we work closely together. So within saying that, he actually knew before me with all the stuff going on, and we're still working nicely together. He's sitting in the office right across from me right now, and we share a lot of ideas. And we're still working towards the same thing. And one thing, he always have a lot of integrity and always put the Springbok Sevens jersey first. So he's 100% open to to take over that role of getting the players ready that's not on tour, and to make sure they're nice and sharp. So we work close together. We share the same plan, same mindset, and we have the same goal in mind.
Absolutely, and it's great to see. I mean, I just wanted to ask the question to put it out there. Talk about the performance of the team though for this year. I mean, we have sort of climbed the highest of highs, 3 out of 3 on an opening day at a tournament, only to bomb out before we get anywhere close to a semi-final or a final. So, very, I suppose, shall we call it disappointing by our very high standards as a Blitzbox team. How do you feel about the way forward? Is this the necessary pain that we have to have before we see success? Talk us through the year that has been 2024.
Yeah, 2024, a very difficult year for us. I mean, definitely not results we were hoping for and planning towards. And we started off the season really well, traveling to Dubai, and won the first tournament there. And then after that, a little bit downhill, a little bit of a slippery slide. And to be honest, the last 2 tournaments we actually came back nice and strong. We topped our pool. We managed to beat Ireland for the first time. We played against some good quality teams, and then unfortunately in that quarterfinals, and so that's something I think more from a mental side that we need to look into, how we can manage the players better, how we can get better info through on a specific point, how can we in those critic moments to make the right decisions. So that's something that we're working hard on. So the last 2 tournaments we topped our pool, everything is going well. We're one of the standout teams day one. And then when it comes to the quarterfinals, it's almost like the pressure is getting too much or getting the best of us. And that's not something we want to stand for. We want to operate out of confidence and not out of fear. So something we really work hard on. And we just take this last tournament compared to the previous one. The previous one, we also played Australia. They beat us quite comfortably. We didn't even put a try up on the scoreboard. This one, we came back with a lot of fighting spirit. We had all the opportunities in the world. We managed to take it into extra time, and then in extra time we had 3 opportunities inside their 22 with a little bit of decision making, kicking the ball away. So that's only ourselves to blame. So close, but yet so far. So but now also we can't just say, listen, we're playing good rugby day one. Overall, we scored second most tries in this last tournament. We played 5 games. New Zealand played 6. They scored 1 more than us. So the team's performing, but we need to have all cylinders firing at the same time. We have one guy playing well in this game, the second game, and then a little bit of concentration lapse. So we need to play for 6 games. We need to play for 14 minutes. And I think the game against France is a great instance, and against Argentina, where we will lead 10 or 15 points to 0, and then they come back and either win the game or we need to go back and finish off the game. So we need to learn, or we need to be focused for 14 minutes and every game, not only for the first 3 or the last one. If you want to be successful, we need to pitch up for every single game.
And I know that, I mean, as with any team, doesn't matter what the team is, doesn't matter what the sport, the fact is that at some point you have to bring in some new blood. You have to bring in some new players, and so with that comes the adjustment. And so we've seen some new players come through, get introduced into the team. I must say, I always, just as a side issue, I always enjoy how the new player is welcomed in terms of his jersey presentation. That must be very special and emotional. But talk to us about how it's been, I suppose, a challenge, how it's not always been 100% plain sailing in terms of introducing the new players, because, of course, they've got to now play to a system that they are mostly unfamiliar with.
Yes, like you said, it's special to give a jersey or a cap to a new player, and it'll always stay special, your first jersey. So yeah, I think it's the different seasons, and if a normal season, if you're only playing for the world or on the World Series and there's no extra qualifiers for the Olympic Games, then you can almost introduce a lot more. So it's a difficult place to be in, to rebuild the squad and to be successful. So, and that's where we are currently. We need to rebuild the squad, but also be successful, because with the tournaments coming up, we still need to qualify for the Olympic Games. So to get that combinations right, and for me, I feel we need to. That's why we brought back one or two older guys for the experience, for the youngsters to be more at ease and to bring the fresh legs. So it's a combination between the youngsters and the guys with experience, and guys putting up their hands. So the youngsters are coming through nicely. They still have a lot to learn, but you can't just chuck away the experienced players. So it's a combination. Yes, we want to score tries, but you can't score tries if you don't have ball in hand. And to get ball in hand, you need to be a good defensive team. So our motto is to be a defensive team, to get the ball, and then we pin guys down, and then create that pressure moments to convert that into points. And that's the same with the squad at the moment. You can't only have experienced guys, and you can't just have new guys coming in because it will take too long. So we're busy in that little bit of in that pressure where we find ourselves now in. We need to get the youngsters to do with energy, but also the experienced guys to keep them calm and ready. And that's something, if we can bring that together, the team will perform.
Absolutely. You mentioned earlier the Olympic Games, and so of course that is one of the goals that I'm sure you've set for yourselves. You've still got Madrid to get through as well. What are the other big appointments for this team, for your team, for the balance, of the year? I know that the Olympics is certainly one of them, so maybe you can talk to that. But I mean, in terms of other achievements, other key tournaments, other key results that you're looking for?
Yes, I think for us, confidence, we to be honest, we're not going to beat around the bush. We're not really very high in confidence. So one day we'll play great rugby, but we can't get through to the semi-final. So I think for us, for our confidence going into the next one, into Madrid, is to really go out firing that first day. Tough pools. There's only 2 pools. It's the top 8. And then really play our hearts out, and to do everything in our power and play well, and to gel as a team to play in that semi-finals. I think that will do, and that will boost our confidence. And then we can take a lot of confidence going into the qualifiers. And then obviously our main objective and our main goal for the season is to qualify. And I think it can be a fairy tale. So if we can go out, finish the season on a high in Madrid, play in that semi-finals, give yourself a chance to medal or to podium, that will be great. And then we can take a lot of confidence, because we're busy building with a group of 16 to 18 players. We need to keep continuity, but also keep the guys fresh for the tournament for the qualifiers. So we will move 1 or 2 things around, give 1 or 2 players a break, but also keep the continuity. So once we get to the qualifiers, we have the best possible squad that can do the job, that have experience, but also a lot of fresh legs. So our biggest focus for this year and our biggest goal is definitely to qualify for the Olympics. We can't set goals now for the Olympics already, otherwise we'll miss it completely. So our focus will be one game, but it starts now in Madrid. It's not only going to start in Monaco with the qualifiers. We need to get confidence back in the team. We need to get the trust. We need to get the belief back in the jersey, and then we can go into that qualifiers with confidence.
Mm. I mean, just for what it's worth, as I suppose a casual observer, the body language, as you rightly point out, the body language in the last couple of tournaments has been very encouraging. It's almost been like there's a fighter wanting to come out of our players, even the new players. It does feel like there's a slight change in their attitude. I'm not going to say that they're looking for a fight, but they certainly are a whole lot more energized and aggressive. So, I mean, I'm not sure what you are feeding them, what's in the water. But it does feel like, there is a bit more purpose, and hopefully they'll take that purpose into these coming tournaments.
Yes, definitely some change in the air, and I'm really happy with where they are and the way they fight, and the way they're fighting off field for each other, the camaraderie, the brotherhood in the team. And that's the thing of any healthy team, any successful team. You need to have a good, strong off-field culture, and they really working hard on that. And then the results will come. But like I said, it's difficult week in, week out to play well on the first day and not progress further in the quarterfinals. So I can't wait for that day where we're fighting for each other, we play well, and then all of a sudden in the quarterfinals, and that's something we work hard on the field now, is for everybody to fire all at once. At the moment, one guy will fire this game, or we'll fire in the first half, the second guy in the second half, then three guys fire here, then there's two misfires. So I can't wait for the team to fire all at once, and I think that's going to be a brilliant moment for us and a big breakthrough moment once the team fire all at once. And I think, and I believe in my heart that is in the near future.
You know, Coach, the one thing that the Blitzboks will be able to, if they just sort of stand, they look back, they look behind them in terms of the years that they've been playing, particularly at this level. I think it's fair to say that for many, many years, the Blitzboks set the standard in terms of sevens rugby. Teams would try to work out how to beat us, and they weren't able to do that in particular years. But now, as with all sports, the gap closes. All of a sudden, those teams that were getting absolutely nailed, without being able to score a try against you, now are scoring tries, now are beating you, now are winning tournaments, now are winning the league. Just if you look around, because I mean you come from a playing and coaching background, if you look around, which are those other standout teams that for you have really stepped up in recent years? I mean, I think of, for example, a few years ago, the Americans were just like the fastest team in the world. They had great hands, and they were just running at anything. Doesn't matter which team they were playing against. It's not like they had disrespect, but they were just backing themselves, and it either came off or it didn't. That was the Americans. I'm going to say maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not sure. But just in terms of your view, some of the other teams in the leagues, in the HSBC sevens, that have really, got their game together and are serious challenges now.
Yeah, if I think back about of our journey now, when I joined the team in 2012 after my first stint in 2008-9, we basically were building also on a squad, a lot of new guys, 1 or 2 older guys coming back in. And what people often forget is for 5 years in a row, we came up second best, but we were building towards something bigger. And then eventually the dam will broke, and we had a great season playing in 8 finals, winning the series with 2 tournaments to go. And then the following season, back-to-back series winners. And I think a team that basically, I think the team that we were back then is a team like Argentina, for instance. Now they were in the top 3 consistently over the past 3 years, and this year they got their breakthrough. They really play out of their skin. They had a lot of characters in the team. They have a lot of pace, X factor, but also guys understanding the game and doing the hard work. So definitely Argentina. I think they've done well. They do the basics well, and they know exactly how they want to play. And then another team that had made the step up is Ireland, and they showed. I think they came second in the league now, going into the last one for the grand finale. Ireland also, first of all, they struggled 4 years to get onto the circuit, losing in finals. Then they were on the circuit, but 8th, 9th, 10th position. And for the last 2 years, they were in the top 5. And this year, they're really every single tournament. They haven't won a tournament, but every tournament they play in the semifinals. And that was our biggest success in the past, is to be consistent in the semifinals. So every weekend you need to play semifinals. Then doesn't matter the result after which you're sure that you'll end up in the top 2. So I think the 2 teams that really stand out is Ireland and Argentina. And I think New Zealand's also, they're getting things right at the moment with youngsters coming through. But I mean, they've been building also for the last 3 years. So they're reaping the reward. But the 2 standouts definitely Ireland and Argentina.
Exactly. Well, as you say, you're planning to break the dam wall, and that dam wall, maybe it won't break immediately. We know that it doesn't, but when it does break, it's a magnificent thing to watch. So I certainly wish you all the very best in terms of kicking down that damn wall, and to the team as well. I want to wish you and the rest of the coaches, and of course the players themselves, all the very best for the upcoming tournaments. I know that as a South African player yourself and somebody who wore the armband, it's probably frustrating and can't be easy to see some of the results. But as you say, there is a plan to get us to the top of the podium again in the not too distant future, and of course to go to a tournament where there's, it's an Olympic event. So I mean, I'm wishing you everything of the very best as you put all of the plans together for those tournaments.
Jeremy, thank you very much, and thank you for all the support over the years, and for all the listeners out there. I know it's not always easy, and I know sometimes you want to stop watching sevens, but what I can tell you, the guys currently in the squad with our management, nobody is working harder, and we want to do our utmost best to get that results, like you said, in the not so far distant future. We want to make sure we restore all the pride in the Sevens jersey. We want to make sure the nation, a team that the nation is proud of, and that's flag bearers of this country. So we're doing everything in our power, and like I said, I know for the listeners and for the fans out there, it's frustrating. But I can tell you, there's nobody that take it harder than the players and the management on themselves, and we're the only ones that can turn this around. And we're working and do everything in our power to do that. So I can give you my word that we're busy with the right things, and the players are buying in, and we have a clear goal, and we share a common goal. And once that's going to click, I can't wait to see the results.
Oh, me and you both, pal. Me and you both. Listen, Phillip, thanks so much for your time. The only thing left for me to do is to wish you a super Saturday.
Thank you, Jeremy. Have a good one, and all the best to all the SA teams.
Cheers, bud. All the best. Bye-bye.